Hey, welcome to Keugrammar one more time. Today we will know how David practiced English alone. In this video, we will talk about David's English learning journey. To know the secret, watch the video until the end. David sat alone in his small apartment, staring at the blank notebook in front of him. The pages were empty, just like his mind when he tried to think of something to say in English. He had always dreamed of speaking fluently, of expressing himself with ease, but without a teacher or a partner to practice with, it seemed impossible. "How can I learn if I have no one to talk to?" he muttered to himself. He had watched countless YouTube videos, read numerous articles, and even downloaded a few language learning apps, but something always felt missing. He wanted to speak, to think, to feel comfortable in English, but he didn't know where to begin. One evening, after a long day at work, David made a decision. "If I can't find a teacher, I will teach myself," he thought. He picked up his phone and searched for ways to practice English alone. The first suggestion seemed silly, talking to himself. He hesitated at first. It felt unnatural, but he had nothing to lose. That night, as he prepared dinner, he tried it. "I am cutting the vegetables. Now, I am boiling water. I will add salt soon." He chuckled at how strange it felt, but as the days passed, it became easier. He started describing everything he did, from brushing his teeth in the morning to walking to the grocery store. Soon, his brain started forming sentences in English without him even trying. One evening, he stood in front of his mirror and asked himself, "How's my day?" At first, he fumbled. My day was okay. I worked today." "No, wait. I worked today." He corrected himself and tried again. "My day was good. I worked and then cooked dinner." He smiled. It was simple, but it was progress. Then came another challenge, his voice. He had always felt self-conscious about his pronunciation. "I sound terrible," he thought the first time he recorded himself. But instead of giving up, he tried again. Each night, he would pick a topic, talk for a few minutes, and listen to himself. At first, he cringed. His words sounded unclear, and his accent was heavy. But day by day, he noticed small improvements. He compared his recordings to native speakers, adjusting his pronunciation little by little. One rainy afternoon, as he sat by his window, he decided to do something different. He put on his headphones and listened to an English podcast. At first, it was a blur of words he could barely understand. But he didn't give up. He listened again, this time with subtitles. He repeated words, mimicked phrases, and even guessed meanings from context. Over time, he found himself recognizing more and more words. English started to sound less like noise and more like something familiar. Books had always been his escape, but reading in English was daunting. "What if I don't understand anything?" he wondered. Still, he picked up a children's book and started reading aloud. The little dog ran through the garden. He stumbled over words, but he didn't stop. Each day, he read a little more, growing more confident with every page. He learned new words, and his tongue became more comfortable with English sounds. As his confidence grew, he decided to start writing. He grabbed his notebook, the same one that had been blank for months, and wrote his first journal entry in English. Today, I woke up early. I ate eggs for breakfast. Then, I studied English. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He made it a habit, writing a few sentences every night before bed. Some days, he struggled to find words, but he pushed through. He looked up words in a dictionary and corrected his mistakes. Over time, his sentences became longer, his thoughts clearer. One day, while walking in the park, he realized something had changed. He was thinking in English. Instead of translating from his native language, words came naturally. It's a beautiful day, he thought, without needing to translate the sentence in his head first. He smiled to himself, knowing this was a big step. Technology became his friend. He downloaded apps that helped him learn new words and correct his grammar. He played with voice assistants, asking questions in English and listening to the answers. Sometimes, he even argued with his AI assistant just for fun. "No, Siri, I didn't mean that," he laughed, realizing that, in a way, he was having conversations in English. One evening, he discovered a technique called shadowing. It involved listening to native speakers and repeating exactly what they said. He chose a short clip from a podcast, played a sentence, paused, and repeated it. At first, he struggled to keep up with the speed, but he didn't give up. Night after night, he practiced, until one day, he found himself speaking with a rhythm that felt almost natural. Learning a language alone wasn't easy, but he found ways to make it enjoyable. He played word games, challenged himself to learn 5 new words a day, and even started watching TV shows without subtitles. At first, he caught only a few words, but over time, he understood entire sentences. His excitement grew with each milestone. David set goals for himself. I will talk to myself every day for 10 minutes. I will write in my journal for 1 month. I will learn 5 new words a day. He tracked his progress in a notebook, and whenever he felt discouraged, he looked back and saw how far he had come. Each small achievement motivated him to keep going. Months passed, and one day, he met a tourist in his city. The man was lost and struggling to find directions. Without hesitation, David walked up to him and said, "Do you need help?" The words came easily, without fear or hesitation. They talked for a few minutes, and for the first time, David felt truly confident in his English. As he walked home that day, he realized something important. He had always believed he needed a teacher or a partner to learn English, but he had proven himself wrong. He had practiced alone, day after day, and now he could speak, listen, read, and write with ease. Learning English wasn't about having the perfect environment, it was about making English a part of his daily life. David looked up at the sky and took a deep breath. He wasn't just learning English anymore. He was living it. And he knew that as long as he kept going, he would only get better. As the days turned into months, David found new ways to challenge himself. He joined online forums, chatting with English speakers from around the world. He started writing short stories and posting them online, receiving feedback from others. He even began to dream in English, a sign that the language had truly become part of his mind. One evening, as he sat at a cafe sipping coffee, he overheard two travelers struggling to order food. Without thinking, he stood up and helped them. "Would you like some recommendations?" he asked. They smiled, relieved, and soon they were chatting about their travels. David realized that this was the moment he had been waiting for, proof that all his hard work had paid off. He walked home that night with a new goal. One day, I will travel to an English-speaking country and speak confidently with anyone I meet. It was a dream that had once seemed impossible. But now, he knew that with patience, dedication, and a little creativity, he could achieve anything. And so, he kept going, one word at a time. Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, have fun with it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more.